Welcome once again. I'm about to introduce my partner, Jerry Jameson. I've worked with Jerry for many, many years, and he's the partner here at Chrome Architecture who really keeps all the designers on our toes and is pushing us and pushing the clients always to be thinking about other ways to solve problems, about creative ways to solve problems. One of the problems that he's taken special interest in over the years is strip centers. We've had a couple of strip centers come to us as projects, and we've used them really to really try to think about ways that strip centers might be redeveloped. And we've had some very interesting projects that Jerry's led. So I'm very pleased to have Jerry address you tonight to talk about his ideas for reinventing the strip center. Jerry Jameson.
Tonight I feel very lucky because what I normally do in my day-to-day life is I work on focused, very small little problems. And with just a sequence of problems for the general game. Every once in a while I get an opportunity to get a little more philosophical, and I think that we're at an interesting time because everybody seems to be getting a little more philosophical about what we've created, why we've created what we've created, and how we should go about maybe rethinking or recreating some of it. So tonight's talk is about strip malls and strip centers, and I've had the opportunity of working with strip centers in a lot of different ways. Most of the time, we're part of what we do is we're retail architects. So we do a lot of work trying to imagine our clients in these kinds of environments. And we always have to deal, or not always, but every once in a while, a lot of the time we have to deal with the frustration that actually whatever kind of concept we're trying to develop ends at the front door. And in some respects, the problem actually only begins at the front door. And so we kind of miss the point. So tonight I have the opportunity to sort of just wax a little philosophically about strip centers, in particular suburbia. I think suburbia is very interesting because at this point in America, more people live in suburbia than the cities and the rural areas combined. And that number is only going to increase. And I remember recently there was a piece in the New York Times, Alison Arief wrote a piece which turned into this really long blog. And her question was, well, what do we do with suburban development? Because clearly we've come to realize that suburbia can't just keep on sprawling and expanding. And the incredible amount of negativity that it brought out in the blog. People were saying, oh, we need to turn them into penitentiaries. Put barbed wire fences around them and turn them into penitentiaries. We need to burn them down. We need to bulldoze them. We need to return them to wetlands. And I think that in truth, if we're going to take that kind of an approach, and it might be reasonable in some instances, by and large we're avoiding the problem because we really do need to deal with suburban issues in as much or even not more than we need to deal with urban issues. So that's really why I would like to put myself into suburbia and work in suburbia and try and sort of understand. The other thing that I've come to is that once you begin to look at these questions, your role as an architect becomes extremely limited. I think these problems deserve to be kind of looked at from a very holistic point of view. I think we're talking about fundamental changes and shifts in society.
That mall was a new paradigm, and yes, people continue to perpetuate, as you said, the metrics for, oh, that works, let's try another one, let's try another one. But then eventually that fell off, and so that was a big exhale. They said, this isn't working any longer, why not? It's like, well, because they don't like that particular mall. They don't like Northgate the way it was. It was getting long in the tooth, as somebody said. And so it declines. And they said, well, okay, now, but that's not going to go away. That mall's not going to go away because what happens when they put that there, they created a societal center. It might not have been the best one, but it put a footprint there that's not going to go away. Things built out from around that, communities, housing, and such and so on. So then when that thing contracts, it's got to come back. When it comes back, it's got to have a new life. It's got to have a new breath. And that's what he was talking about with the mall. He's saying we need to bring in more entertainment. But they got hit with a double whammy here. I mean, there was a previous breath out with the malls, right? And then they were coming back, and that was okay. But now we had another breath, and somebody mentioned it, just took the wind out of their sails, which was the internet. We had a paradigm shift. When we talk about, well, we drove our cars to the mall. Well, we better change from cars to bicycles or to walking. It's like, no, we got to jump beyond that, because with the internet, they're going to bring the stuff right to your house. You don't have a mall anymore, right? So if I don't need to go out to go shopping, well, what am I got a mall for? Well, the reason why you have a mall is because it's a societal center, right? So they need to build a societal center into that. I'm not entirely convinced, and no offense to the guys at Northgate, that having a little adjunct onto the side of a spot where they can have some people do a performance is really going to get the job done. You know, you look at downtown San Rafael, which was devastated, and they've got a center over here across the street, and they have the chalk art fair, whatever it's called, and they have things having a street fair. That's why people come here. I can buy anything I want on the internet. I got no reason to leave my house. I come here because I want to see what's going on. I want to run into people and see it. Yes, it becomes a societal center of itself. So what you saw with the Denver thing, spot on. People will go there. I don't really care whether I buy anything or not. I might or might not. And the strip mall, those little strip malls, very valuable, because those guys didn't want to have to get out of their, didn't want to have to drive into town or to the big mall, because it was, now you go to San Jose, it's difficult to get from your residence to the big mall. It takes a long time, and it costs a lot of money with gas. But I'll go around the corner to that little shop. But I'm not going to go around the corner of the little shop anymore if I can buy stuff on the internet and I can have Safeway deliver my groceries, right? So that little strip mall has got to have something else. The thing that it's going to have is it's going to be very cool. You build a 2-layer place, really cool facade. I can walk to it. There's music. There's things, something happening. I can get out of my house to go there. And I think that if you design something so that people think it's fun to go to that little strip mall, that 2-level place, because there's music hanging outside, they'll go there.
I mean, one of the biggest issues with the strip malls is, in fact, they've been building strip malls to try and steal business, not because they're generating new business, but because they're taking business away from older malls. So they're actually, they're actually in the cyclical way. They're shooting themselves in the foot endlessly, over and over and over. So that what is true, I believe, is that in America we have twice as much retail space per capita than any other place on the planet. So there's the need for retail space is clearly going to change, and of course the issues of the internet and all these other things just make it that much worse. So the question is, what are we going to do with these spaces? We have to, and if we can identify the fact that they do offer the opportunity for some form of urban regeneration, especially in suburbia, where you have essentially a tabula rasa. You do not have the kind of cool spaces to go to or be seen. They actually do offer the opportunity for a kind of an urban regeneration which doesn't exist in other forms of building.